Hi, it's KCCK's Culture Crawl. I'm Dennis Green, and my guest is Jim McDonough, whose Holiday Grand Tour is hitting the road once again for, you think, year 17?
Yes, I believe so. It has changed over the years, and it's hard to pinpoint exactly when the first year of Holiday Grand was, because it had some other names and it started in my hometown of Monticello. But I came off cruise ships. I was a cruise ship pianist. I came off ships in 2001, and I've been giving shows around the holidays ever since.
So you've kind of started telling me a little bit of the Jim McDonough story for those who don't know it. But you grew up in Monticello. When did you first realize that the piano was going to be your lifetime companion?
I knew it halfway through my first lesson book. The very first sort of primary book that little students use sits this way on the page rather than this way, so those little people can see the notes. I knew halfway through that first lesson book that sits horizontally that this was different, that there was something about the piano that felt right. I mean, all the things that I didn't do well, I wasn't I wasn't top of the class. I certainly wasn't athletic. I wasn't so many things, but this felt differently. So I knew halfway through that first lesson book that someday I wanted to be a pianist. I didn't know what this career would look like, and I denied the fact that I could make a living in it over the years as well. But I did have sort of that North Star. So I knew at age 7 or 8 that this was ultimately my dream. But I didn't know I'd be using it in this way.
Right. And you mentioned that you had a career on cruise ships, and this was where you kind of tumbled into kind of you mentioned the North Star, but kind of the framework behind, what all of your shows have been. It's surrounding the people's favorite songs. Matter of fact, your website even says it all, pianofavorites.com.
That's right. What I learned in a hurry taking requests on the cruise ship was that people love to hear their favorite songs. And I could use this piece of equipment, a piano, to really connect, make a human connection with someone by playing a song that resonated with them. Maybe it was their first date, their first dance. Maybe it was a song played at a grandparent or a parent's memorial service, or just whatever the case. If I could make a connection by playing their favorite song, there was something very satisfying and very rewarding about that. So I found night after night I was playing a collection of songs that it would be very often requested. And on a break from the cruise ship, I recorded sort of a top 10 most often requested songs. I named it Requests. I took it back on the ships so that when someone would come up to the piano and ask for a song like the theme from Titanic was big back then on a cruise ship of all places. But when they would ask for that, I'd play it for them and I'd sell them the CD. And that was successful enough. Eventually, I moved back onto dry land. I recorded a holiday CD, and now I just am releasing this week what is my 19th album. And it's another Christmas CD. It's entitled "'Tis the Season." It has 14 tracks that aren't found on any of my previous holiday CDs. And again, it's people's favorite songs, and that's been very rewarding to me. That's what I record, and that's what this project is all about at Christmas time.
And Holiday Grand is a holiday tour that you've been doing for, nigh on 20 years now. And you're a composer, arranger, producer, director. I mean, and it's a big show. You tour with a full orchestra, chorus, and dancers. And I know you've got a great staff that helps you, but talk to us a little bit about the process of conceptualizing this show, especially show number 17.
Yeah.
How do you keep it fresh?
Yeah. It's such an interesting balance, Dennis. The people who have made my shows an annual tradition, and there are many, and I find that so rewarding also, that I can look out and see the families who have joined us year after year, and this is just one of those things they do. I mean, the holidays are about tradition. We love to do the things that, make this time of year feel like this time of year. And certainly we also every year welcome so many new people who are making it a tradition. But it's important to me that the show is fresh because of that, because people are joining us over and over. And yet at the same time, I believe people do want that nostalgia. They want something familiar. So how do we do that? We come up with spectacular arrangements of people's favorite Christmas songs. So there's nothing terribly obscure in the show, although there are some very interesting arrangements. You mentioned my orchestra. I'm joined on stage by a fantastic orchestra. We have a cast of 8 singers and dancers that are fully costumed and choreographed. Just adding them to the mix, we can costume things, we can stage things differently. But this is a feel-good show with something for every generation. You know, one thing I do love about the holidays, and I think it's why I have now 5 Christmas albums, everyone in the family listens to the same Christmas music.
So one time of the year when everybody listens to the same
It's the
music.
only time.
Yeah.
It's the only time of year everyone in the family, from great-grandchild to great-grandparent, can agree what to listen to, for the most part. You know, it doesn't happen any other time of the year. So that's why I love to see the families and the people who come back year after year. And we take this show to the most beautiful venues in Iowa, theatrical venues. And you know, not only are we spreading the message of Christmas, but also the message of Camp Courageous. So it's just been a very rewarding thing over the years.
And we should also mention, too, that this is and has always been a benefit for Camp Courageous, the great camp for everyone of all abilities in your hometown of Monticello.
Yep. And, you know, over the years, they have grown, and it's really been something to watch that. And in 2019, I believe they will serve just shy, and it may be over this number, but I think it's right around 10,000 campers with special needs on an annual basis. And this happens without any government assistance, no formal sponsorship. It's all done on a very grassroots level, and people contributing to Camp Courageous and rolling up their sleeves and being involved. And, you know, this is a way I can help. And it's just a wonderful organization. And I believe this is the 13th year that my project has benefited Camp Courageous. In the early years, I did it for a food pantry. When it started in my hometown of Monticello, it was a food pantry. It was other associations, but Camp Courageous has been about 13 years. And it's been a wonderful honor to spread the word of such a wonderful organization.
Talking with Jim McDonough about his Holiday Grande tour coming up. And, of course, we'll focus on stuff in the corridor, but you do perform all over the state, so just kind of run down the list quickly of all the places you're going to be.
You bet. We open in Anamosa, which is sort of my local Jones County show. We open there. They have a beautiful new auditorium, the Ellen Kennedy Fine Arts Center, so we'll open there. We continue in Ottumwa. At the Bridgeview Center.
Which is another great venue.
It is. We'll be in Davenport at the Adler Theater on December 1st. That's another great.
That's one of my favorite venues any place.
Dennis, we could stop after every one of these
I know.
and comment
exactly
how beautiful
right.
these are. That's why I
true.
say we take this show to the most beautiful venues in Iowa. Then how about Hoyt Sherman Place in Des Moines?
Another winner.
Say it, Dennis. It
Yep,
is.
It's great.
It's beautiful. It's
Beautiful
gorgeous.
room, yep.
How about the Paramount Theater?
Oh, been there a few times.
Yeah, so we'll be at the
just a couple
Paramount
times.
Theater on Sunday, December 8th. The Gallagher Blue Dorn in Cedar Falls, it continues. And we wrap up the show at the historic Five Flags Theater in Dubuque, which is over 100 years old. And it is, among my team, it's for some people, it's their favorite room because it's just so charming, and it seats shy of 800 people. And it really is just such a warm, intimate feeling. So these are the most beautiful theatrical venues in the state, and I love it. I get to share this experience with a lot of talented people.
We talked about the arrangements, the orchestra. Of course, you've got choreographer and team to get, with your dancers and all of that. But there's also a spot during every show where you kind of walk on the high wire and go back to your roots and take requests from the audience.
Yes.
And that is, you just really never know what's going to happen
I don't.
during that one.
And you can see the toothpicks keeping my eyelids propped open from all the practicing we've been doing. But that's the one thing that I can't practice for. I can't prepare for that moment in the show. It's something that I did in that very first show when I came off ships. I thought, I'm going to just take this audience request, make it a bit. I didn't know how it would be received, but I did it that first year. And of all the things that I worked so hard on and practiced, and I can't practice for that, that was the most often requested or commented on moment of the show. So I did it the second year, and people loved it. So I did it the third year, now 17 or so years later.
And you just, you literally never, I have literally seen you play the Oscar Mayer Wiener theme song and go right into Beethoven.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
It can be anything.
Yeah. But it's something that, it's a real ice-breaking kind of, we're in this together. I don't have any idea what's going to be requested. But I do string all of those songs together into an on-the-spot medley of, several minutes, but it's very fast-paced, and I love it.
Well, your show is just always a delight, top to bottom, and it is something for the whole family and a tradition that now in all these years, I'm sure a lot of people have grown up with your show and are now bringing their own families.
Yeah.
So it is one of Iowa's truly great traditions, staged all over the state. So if you just want to go catch it, here in the corridor, but if you're going to be traveling or need something to do with family in another part of the state, there's going to be a show near you as well. If people want tickets or more information, they can visit your website, which I mentioned before, but it is right now right above my head. But for the radio audience, you can tell them that it's
pianofavorites.com, and each of these venues handles ticketing in a different way. So just go there, click on performances, and you'll have a direct link.
Well, it's great to see you as always. Thanks so much for coming in, and good luck with your tour. I know it's going to be a blast.
Thanks, Dennis. Thank you.
You can hear the Culture Crawl live on the radio most weekdays at 10:20 a.m. or download the video podcast. Watch or listen on your own schedule at kcck.org/culture or using your favorite podcast app. I'm Dennis Green, and I'll talk to you later.